The quantum law of being reveals that as soon as you understand it, reality changes. Imagine that you not only live in the universe, but that the universe lives through you. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that we have power over our mind, not over external events. By realizing this, we gain strength. This notion is wonderfully complemented by the statement that what you seek is seeking you. These ideas form a deep understanding that challenges our everyday perception of reality. Let's illustrate this powerful idea with an inspiring story. A woman was absolutely passionate about music. She loved listening to music while driving, and had a dream of buying a specific sound system for her car, one that had all the functions and qualities she desired. However, she didn't have enough money to buy it. Her enthusiasm for having a high-quality audio system was so great that she opted for a lower-quality device that fit her budget. One day, she left her car parked, and when she returned, the sound system had been stolen. This woman believed she could benefit from any situation, so she wasn't shaken. She remained calm and declared to herself, "I don't know how yet, but I choose to believe that this situation is serving me positively." Despite what happened, she decided to look at the incident from the perspective that somehow it could bring benefits to her. After the theft, she started the bureaucratic processes and contacted her insurance company, which provided the money needed to repair the damage to the panel left by the thief, and also to replace the stolen audio system. When she took the car to the workshop, the mechanic saw the damage and said the repair was much simpler than it seemed, ending up charging much less than the insurance company had estimated. As a result, the remaining money was exactly the difference needed for the high-end device she initially wanted, and so she bought the sound system she had dreamed of. If she had labeled the situation as negative, thinking, "Why did this happen to me? The world is unfair, life is against me," she might have ended up facing obstacles when dealing with the insurance, a mechanic who would charge more for the panel repair, among other difficulties, because she would be emitting that vibration. Quantum physics and ancient mysticism arrive at similar conclusions. Reality cannot be something external unfolding independently of us. Instead, it can be a creative process in which we actively participate. Research in neuroplasticity shows that the human brain can reconfigure itself based on repetitive thought patterns. This means that by focusing on positive thoughts, we can literally shape our brain for the better. The story of the woman whose sound system was stolen perfectly exemplifies how our beliefs and attitudes can transform apparent adversity into an opportunity. Contrary to what we were taught from childhood, no situation or event has an inherent meaning. Nothing is intrinsically positive or negative. It is we who give meaning and label our experiences according to our beliefs. Everything is neutral. If you believe you can learn something from anyone, and that a simple conversation can bring you benefits, you will see it positively and receive it well, paying attention to any insights that interaction might bring, gaining much from it. On the other hand, a person with the opposite belief, thinking random conversations are a waste of time, will feel annoyed when approached and will close off to any learning opportunities. Thousands of years ago, Hermes Trismegistus taught the principle of as above, so below, suggesting that the universe is like a mirror, reflecting what is above in what is below. This is mirrored in the phenomenon of quantum entanglement, where particles, no matter the distance, are so connected that the state of one instantly affects the other. This points to a universe where separation is only an illusion and everything is deeply interconnected. The highest attitude here is to forgive and accept what happened, no matter how challenging it may be. Suspend your beliefs about right and wrong for a moment. Imagine you are the creator of everything that exists. You are so grand that you allowed yourself to create everything, light and shadow, positive and negative, unity and separation. From your perspective as the creator, everything is valid. If something exists, it is because it must exist. God does not make mistakes. It's like in a movie. The hero and the villain are part of the same experience. Both must exist for the story to happen. Everything needs to exist for the infinite. It's not up to us to judge. This doesn't mean we can't have preferences. It's natural to prefer certain situations over others. But when something you don't prefer happens, it's always an opportunity to learn something. At the very least, you discover what you don't prefer, gaining clarity about your desires and purposes. Everything in your life is a gift, and if you look at it that way, you will spend the rest of your days unwrapping presents. Human life is challenging, but that doesn't mean we can't see the good side of every experience we have. Each of us has the capacity for this. It is our greatest power, the power of choice. Choosing how we look at each situation, giving it meaning. Everything is energy. Everything is vibrating. When we choose to remain in a positive state regardless of what happens, we are choosing to vibrate positively, and as a result, life gives back what is compatible with that vibration. Try it yourself and test it. The next time something unexpected happens, say to yourself, I don't know how this situation is serving me yet, but I choose to believe it will bring me benefits. There's a big difference between acknowledging that you don't prefer something from a neutral state and invalidating something by labeling it as negative. By invalidating a situation, placing a negative definition on it, you focus and give your attention to it, giving it power and attracting more of that energy. When you invalidate a situation, you are invalidating yourself and the universe itself, because somehow you created and attracted that situation to learn something. By defining that something in your life is wrong, you will consequently experience something wrong in your life. And unless you change the definition, you will continue to attract more of that experience. You are exactly where you need to be, living what you need to live, to learn what you need to learn. Accept your current reality because it is a step towards where you want to be. The choice to remain in a positive state is beneficial on its own. Entering a negative spiral, putting yourself in a victim role, is an attitude that blocks your power and doesn't help to resolve the situation. From a positive state, you have the clarity and ability to deal with any challenge. It doesn't matter what happens, but what we do with what happens. Everything in your life is a gift, and if you look at it that way, you will spend the rest of your days unwrapping presents. What you emit is what you receive. A wise book of answers to your questions. Everything that appears in your life is a reflection of something happening inside you. What you think, you feel. What you feel, you emit. What you emit, you receive. Without enough awareness, attachment to negative feelings is very effective. Capable of receiving, Energy always works for both input and output. There is no better or worse path, there is only your path. Follow it. If you have learned not to take offense, it means you have learned to look at the heart of another. You will understand that your true greatness begins where your pride ends. Of all the arts worth learning, one of the greatest skills is listening. Let him stay quietly attentive. Don't get involved, but listen as if you were listening to God. Diseases reflected by the body. Distortions of consciousness will disappear when the distortion is corrected. You have no enemies. My enemy is an angel sent to reveal the enemy within yourself. Vanity creates stupidity. Don't make noise. Let what is happening reveal itself to you. Observe your thinking. What you are thinking takes shape. Avoid extremes. If you want to maintain balance, you are as alive as you are flexible. Look at a young stem. It is soft and flexible. With age, it becomes hard, inflexible, and dry. Life leaves it, but you can maintain continuous vitality if you remain flexible. What you look at for a long time will eventually stop. If people looked not with their eyes but with their hearts, they would see the desire for love. Simple law. You lose strength and exhaust yourself in that area of life where there is no personal authenticity. Any interaction with life in which you are not being yourself leads to collapse. If the work of life or relationships is not fueled by sincerity, identity, and choice, it is fear. That is why you lose strength. Instead of growth, you get decay. Any state of thought you do not like, change your thinking. What you tune into, you emit. Great is the one who knows how to see the great in the insignificant. Forgetting the bad means letting in the good. It is never too late to take a step in the other direction. Ask yourself, does what I do bring joy and lightness to my soul? If not, look for a mistake. The walls of your mind are the limits of your world. Finding yourself is a quest for an image that already exists. As long as you have the conviction that someone else is obliged to meet your expectations, your own resources remain unclaimed. Internal forces are unused. The responsibility for your own life is not taken into account. You focus on accusations and manipulations, which lead to degradation and self-destruction. The point of transition to self-improvement and the development of your own life is the awareness that everyone lives in a single imaginary world. No one knows the given world. Everyone calls their personal fantasy the truth. Wherever you go, you will find only what you brought with you. The wishing wind of change takes you to broken branches. If it is difficult, decisions do not require immediate adoption. Try to accept them after living through 3 states of soul: devastated, cold mind, and rejoicing in your heart. This is what creates your heaven and your hell. This creates happiness, and this creates suffering. As soon as you realize the power of your own mind, your life will begin to change. Be responsible for what you fill your mind with, for it is what your life will be filled with. Peace comes to the soul of people when they realize that externally is a manifestation of the internal. Having found love within yourself, you will find it everywhere. Looking into the eyes of another, you do not look into your own eyes. In none of the places and in none of the things will you see what is not within you. What is meant for you will not go anywhere until it fulfills its role in your life, reflected in your own thinking. Like a weed, even if it is uprooted, it continues to grow if its root is not destroyed. Thus, suffering will be born again and again if you do not change your thinking. Every problem life brings to a person necessarily has a solution, and this solution is always within our reach and brings only the necessary good. It is not so that the problem would not have come to you. No one can offend you without your consent, because the reason is offensive thoughts. They are only in your power, the ability to remain. Claims and expectations towards another are a way to hide unprocessed fears within yourself. A feeling of pain is an unpaid debt, and most often it is a debt not given to yourself. Any feeling lives only inside. If at this moment you are unhappy, it means that the door inside needs to be opened. Get rid of pride, the worst enemy within you. In truth, just look at everyone, no matter who they are, with all your heart and an open mind. Let him place others above himself, finding in anyone something to learn. The parents of your own happiness, unhappiness. You are external, secondary, internal, primary. Go inside yourself. Your suffering is caused by your resistance. Say yes to the universe, and you will receive the key to its treasures. The world loves you, otherwise, you wouldn't have appeared. Do not judge by what is said. What is said is just a climate of emotion. Do not judge by what is not said. What is not said is the fear of not being understood, not by the mind. Listen. It always argues with the heart. Listen. It is better and a better advisor. There is nothing more destructive in the world than a person blinded by pomposity. The first step to the art of mind mastery is the ability to listen to another as you listen to yourself. With tender love, touch everything. You deal with everyone or do not touch them at all. Meet people who seem like ice thorns. Or maybe that is why the Lord sends them to you, because he sees you with enough warmth to warm them. At your discretion, fill your world with good or evil, with greed or faith, with altruism, with aggression, with indifference, or with mercy. Remember that what you just left on your path is what many find on it. At the beginning of a relationship, there is a spouse, then there is a future. Life is complete happiness, but actually love never stands still. It is like plants that either grow and bloom or wither and die. It all depends on what we do with it. Be conscious in relationships. Take care of them. Everything that causes fear and condemnation must be treated, but not in yourself. If you feel bad, do not ask yourself, when will this end? Ask yourself, why am I doing this to my life? Who does not control themselves will try to control others. Thus they receive an illusory peace and imaginary stability. However, what they receive is very greedy and powerless. Internal control gives rise to power and unshakable strength to see what fills your mind. Look at what surrounds you. When you long for the fulfillment of one of your desires, you do not think about the fact that to make it come true, you need to go through something. Decide to acquire something.